if you recreate a game inside another game, how accurate does it have to be before the exercise starts to become kind of pointless? Well, that's an interesting thought experiment, but it doesn't really apply here. I present to you QDOOM. It was released in 2001, and it appears to be entirely the efforts of only one person, Marc A. Pullen, aka Fanatic. Everything, the sprite rips, the mapping, the coding, and even the rockin' music, all Fanatic. I am astounded by the level of effort and skill that was poured into this mod. The sprites that are created from Quake's models would have taken ages to do, and they look pretty damn good. The trickery required to make Quake's weapons and monsters act similar in the Doom engine is impressive, the map design is pretty good, and I'm a huge sucker for this kinda late 90s alternative metal / industrial riff-packed music. However, there is a huge elephant in the room. QDOOM was made for, and therefore will only run in, the Edge engine. And the Edge engine kinda sucks. Don't get me wrong, it's technically quite impressive for its time. It's just also pretty janky. Sometimes textures just don't display properly. The view bob when you're strafe running is awful. The HUD is straight up broken. Explosion shaking can sometimes get stuck and then affect player movement. The collision and physics seem to work fine, but they just don't feel very nice. Basically, in my opinion, the whole thing just feels a little bit weird to play. It seems like both QDOOM and the Edge engine walked to the precipice of greatness and then didn't jump. There was potential to become undeniably awesome, but instead they seem to have just run out of steam, or maybe even just said, yeah, that'll do. Maybe that's why it's called the Edge engine. It's kind of bizarre and frustrating, but also strangely endearing. There's so much to smile about when playing QDOOM. I mean, the hard parts were done. It has the sprites, the maps, the music. It just needed the polish. This could have been a classic Doom mod celebrated far and wide. Instead, it seems it's fallen into obscurity. Oh well. Links to everything are in the description, of course. I highly recommend checking it all out for yourself. It is a great bit of fun, even if the novelty wears off pretty quickly. I'd also recommend just playing Doom in the Edge engine, just so you can see for yourself what I'm talking about. It all works fine, but it's kinda cursed in every single way too. Let's hop into Edge and take a bit of a look at QDOOM. But first, let's actually play this splash screen as it is in order. I am jumped. And very scared. Have you ever seen anything more early 2000s than the splash screen of this? And here we go. We're rocking out. Yeah, I guess this was added after QDOOM finished development, the multiplayer option. Let's get the hard skill and let's go. Oh right, I put the HUD back to record the... this HUD is completely broken. Let's try playing with it so I can remind myself why I stopped using it. But there is something pretty cool here. The QDOOM mod is sort of split into hub style levels. Oh, and the shadow on the door when it opens like that, are we going to get to see that again? But it was actually a dynamic shadow that moved, and the lighting's sort of like, it's a combination of sector art as well as like in-engine point lights. Really interesting. Also, these rain droplets, that is literally just line defs like you would see in other Doom mods that even are vanilla compatible, that just have like an animated texture on them. Same with this, is just an animated texture. And that melt effect, that's just what Edge does, that's not because of QDOOM. Alright, now we get to actually shoot some things and see... Okay, I mean, the HUD's working so far. I think maybe one of the reasons I didn't use it was just because it completely covers the weapon. They didn't change it in the Edge engine so that your weapon appears above the status bar. The status bar just covers it. Also, these maps, I think the design of them's pretty decent, but there's really not enough in the way of balancing of ammo. Health and armor maybe you could say is balanced, but not ammo. I mean, there's a bit here, but yeah. Also, yeah, look at this view bob when strafe running. So obviously I'm a keyboard player, you can see from keyboard cam, but look, I'll quickly swap to mouse. Still does it. Look at that. That strange view bob, even when you're playing with WASD. So yeah, weird stuff. Also, yeah, textures don't display, so it's just a flat black texture here. I think it's actually textures that are like on, you know, geometry that's truly 3D, because the Edge engine does allow that, to be fair to it, but the textures don't display properly when it does it. But anyway, check out these sprites. I mean, I think they've been done pretty well. Yeah, they're pretty pixelated, but the animation's pretty fluid, and, you know, lots of care and attention was put into making sure there's no artifacts or weird things going on. They look the business. Pretty good. Also, it's a bit hard to tell, you know, when exactly their, you know, attack is going to deal damage. It's hard to avoid. Maybe I was unfair on the HUD of the Edge engine, by the way, because this is working totally fine. Although I say that now, wait till we pick up a nail gun. Let's see if it actually displays the ammo for that correctly. So yeah, this, I mean, I think you can probably already see there's not too much more to add to what I said in the intro. This was so close to being awesome, but there's just so much jank to it that it's more of just a strange novelty than anything else. I mean, how did it get to the stage where all the monsters and weapons are implemented, and implemented pretty damn well, and I mean they look good, and the maps exist, but they're sort of like, I mean, I've been saying they're pretty good, but at the same time, also I really like this. It's just, you know, like flat sprites of the thing rotating, so it looks the same no matter how you look at it, but it sells the illusion pretty well of being 3D. This view bob, man. Yeah, and I've played these maps, obviously, that's why I know there's a mega health there. Oh man, and it feels like running in slime there. You would probably can't tell in the video, but it feels like you're starting and stopping and starting and stopping, but the friction only gets applied half the time or something. Really strange. And then yeah, clearly people who made the Edge engine didn't give a crap about keyboard players, and fair enough. So let me swap to mouse and WASD for a sec, just so you can see that it still looks and feels, well, you won't be able to feel it, but you'll see hopefully how it feels really janky to play regardless. Like the physics, you know, like obviously the mouse look is fine, but it's hard to describe. It doesn't feel like I'm running on ice or anything like that, but there's just a really strange way to the, you know, acceleration and deceleration that just feels a bit strange. It's probably fine, it's just that I'm comparing it directly to Doom and Quake, which have famously amazing physics, because this looks exactly like Doom and Quake, and it's just not quite there, you know. I'm one of those people who doesn't really like the build engine, and I think there are a few people out there like that, who, you know, even though we really like Doom and Doom engine games, aren't the hugest fan of the build engine, and one of the reasons for that is the build engine's movement physics just aren't anywhere near as satisfying. And I experienced that playing in the Edge engine for sure. And I really struggle to say that as well. Edge engine. Edge engine. This is the Edge engine. Oh yeah. Although it's actually spelt with a 3, I think, because, you know, oh, we'll get the super shotgun, alright, cool. Oh, but apparently the Super Shotgun graphic is so small that it's hidden by the HUD. Here we go, some of that little tiny bits of jank, and there's just so many little tiny bits of jank that all just add up. Is it there actually? Yeah, it's just tiny. Look at the size of the thing. When you're using the super... Oh, look, and the ammo's busted now, I think. Oh no, the ammo... Okay, so the ammo works on this part of the HUD, but not when you try and make it the this one. See, it's just 0 now, no matter what. Now it works. Strange. Wait, you have to press switches, just like in Doom. I think the bars that it's talking about... Oh yeah, these ones. And we can go. Alright, so that's just, you know, the first actual combat map. I think rather than... Oh no, actually this one's pretty cool. Yeah, this is the castle map. We'll play this map, and then maybe the next one, and we'll leave it at that. We saw enough in the intro of like the later maps where the grunts are and so on. If you know, I don't plan to do like a full playthrough of it. There's 9 maps that actually work in this mod that you can actually play, and 3 of them are hub levels, so there's really not actually that much content. But of those maps, even like there aren't that many that sort of like fully playable and work really well. I'm already revising what I thought about saying. Oh yeah, the maps are pretty damn good. They look pretty cool. Oh yeah, water. So check this out. Apparently the Edge engine can do water. As you are now seeing, we are in water. This is a feature that was boasted about. I mean, I guess to be fair, I don't know how much of this, and I'm going to need to use the map. And then for a big trip, you open the map, and it's the Doom map. Yeah, and now we're back out of the water. So it looks okay from the top, and then you go into it, and just, whoop, we're in pure black. I can't see a damn thing. Oh, and there we go. You can get back out again, but yeah. Doesn't look right. Not even close. Oh. Now I think... yeah. Oh yeah, I pressed a button, I'm pretty sure. I've got the gold key, that's what I've done. I mean, that's pretty satisfying. It is cool to play a game that sort of looks and feels this much like Quake, but has like a lot of enemies on screen at once with a slightly higher sort of like speed of play. That is quite cool. But it's around about this point now where I'm sort of running out of things to say or to feel because the novelty is wearing off. It just didn't quite, you know, it got the technical basics down for the most part. And then the map design was just a little bit boring, I'm afraid. Just needed that much more in the way of polish. This could have been awesome. Like proper awesome. And it starts to make me think, you know, like, okay, so much effort was put into this much of it, getting to this stage with all the sprites and the enemy behavior and everything. It's pretty good. Why stop here then? Why stop when all the hard bits are done, you know? Like, surely this is the most time-consuming, tedious part, doing all of this stuff. And then at this point where it's time to start having some fun and making some cool maps and playing around with what you've already achieved, that's it. It just seems to have stopped. The project ended. I mean, I guess it was the early 2000s, like 2001. But I wouldn't be surprised if back then, just like a lot of people who were making like Flash games or Newgrounds, Marc Pullen was just some teenager who grew out of the idea. But after having done a really solid job of getting it started. Yeah, pretty strange stuff. But makes for a really interesting look back. And like I say, I mean, like, you know, there are these glimpses, like, just there. And in some of the other maps where you just get a super nail gun and there's, like, you know, 20 grunts in front of you. It's like, yeah, Quake with that many enemies would be cool. And yeah, I'm normally a keyboard player, but now that I've gone to mouse and keyboard for this particular mod, I'm finding it hard to go back because, well, it's just so much easier to play with this janky engine. Okay, here we go. This is the final map of the first episode. Just 3 maps per episode. So really only episodes 1 and 2 are fully playable. And then episode 3 is where it stops being finished. I think the files for maps beyond map 10 exist in the WAD. And certainly there's music for like 20 maps, but that doesn't work. Okay, here we go. I see all these textures as well, is what I mean. Like, they don't, even when they're not pure black, the lighting on them is just messed up. Okay. We even do get to face Chthon or Chthon or whatever you want to say. And this time around you just press 4 buttons on the floor. No particular timing, no particular order, you just press them. But the idea is pretty much the same. And, well, there we go. You are defeated, sir. Chthon. And that's it. And yeah, there's no sound in the intermission screens. And well, yeah, that's QDOOM. It's a huge case of what if. Interesting novelty, and I mean, yeah, there's a bit more to it with grunts and enforcers and dogs and so on and the rest of the weapons. And if you look in the game files, like fiends and shamblers and everything, they were done. But I'm pretty sure they haven't actually been placed in any of the maps that you have access to here. So, that's QDOOM. Hope you enjoyed this little random look into such a weird little thing. I thought it was just like a really cool experiment to highlight. Marc, Pullen, if you're out there, leave a comment, let us know, you know, what happened. And what was the development process like, because you seem to be incredibly talented, dude. I would have loved to have seen this taken to its natural conclusion. Also, wait. Okay, that's episode 3. Why did we start here? I only just realised that. We started in completely the wrong spot. That was episode 1 I did, and that was through here. And then we've come out over at episode 3. Where even is the entrance to episode 2? Doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. I love looking at these sort of old, strange things, and I'll try and do some more in the future. And anyway, in the meantime, peace.